Welcome to the Landmark Sports Show, hosted by Anthony and John. This is Season 1, Episode 3, broadcasting every Tuesday from Landmark High School, covering sports topics including the NFL, UFC, MLB, NBA. Leading off today, we got Ant discussing UFC Fight Night 103, Rodriguez versus Penn. Ant, what'd you think about that fight?
Well, it's awesome to be here for our third episode already. So BJ Penn versus Yair Rodriguez. Now, Rodriguez, he's so fast on his feet. He caught Penn with a few kicks. In the second round, he caught Penn with this karate kick and dropped him and finished the fight by TKO in 24 seconds of the second round. I give BJ Penn a lot of respect, though, because he wanted to come back and fight again. You know, there's a few people that wouldn't even try to fight, you know?
Mm-hmm. True. Absolutely.
I'm sorry. Also, ladies and gentlemen, breaking news. On The Ultimate Fighter Season 25, which is The Ultimate Fighter Redemption, we have the UFC Bantamweight Champion Cody Garbrandt, who will coach one team, and the other coach will be the number one contender for the title, TJ Dillashaw.
You heard it here first, folks. Breaking news from Ant. Ant, we have a new segment this week. We're going to take questions from the fans. There's been an outpouring of support and questions, and a lot of people really interested in your take specifically on UFC. I try to hold my own in UFC, but you're really our mixed martial arts expert around here.
Thank you.
So this first question comes from John in New Jersey. It's not actually me. It's another John. We're not making up questions around here.
Yeah, don't worry, folks.
But his question is it even reasonable to consider a boxing match between Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather? It would definitely make money on pay-per-view, but Floyd would obviously have the advantage, correct? What do you think, Ant?
Well, let me just say, the whole thing with Conor and Mayweather is stupid, you know, because, let's face it, they're never going to fight each other. Now, to answer that question, yes, Floyd would have the advantage since he's an undefeated boxer. However, Conor said in an interview after he fought Eddie Alvarez that you got to have size, length, and however, Floyd Mayweather, he is shorter than Conor. Conor's 5'9", while Mayweather is 5'8". However, Conor is an MMA fighter. Floyd is a boxer, so it depends on who has the weakest chin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think my stance on this has always been it's pretty simple. That if those two were to fight in an MMA style match, I think McGregor would take him out really quickly.
Yeah.
I think when you combine his striking with his kind of ability in the octagon, it would be a no contest. Conversely, if they were to box, I think the Mayweather would beat him. I think, the most recent fight I saw of Mayweather was the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. And Mayweather is just like a technical boxer, right? He's not necessarily going to knock people out, but he's also not going to let you get in on his body. He's not going to let you reach him. I think that he would win in a decision. I think it would be kind of a boring boxing match because I think he would just outbox him. So while it's a good question, while it's fun for people to talk about, what might happen if they faced off, I think it's kind of a moot point because I think each one of them in their respective disciplines would really have the upper hand.
Yeah, exactly.
You agree?
Yeah, I agree 100%.
That being said, I think I would buy it. Ant, would you buy it if it was on?
Yeah, I would buy it.
I think we'd still have to buy it. We'd still be curious, right?
Of course.
All right. Anything else on the UFC before we shift gears to the
NFL? Nothing else except for TJ Dillashaw against Cody Garbrandt in The Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, big fights coming up. What's the next big UFC pay-per-view?
So UFC 208 is going to be in the Barclays Center. It's not going to really be huge because the card doesn't look all that great. Holly Holm is going to be in the main event fighting for the first ever UFC's women's featherweight title against some person nobody knows. But however, UFC 209 in Anaheim in March, the main event of that card, the rematch between Tyron Woodley and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson for the welterweight championship, with the co-main event being Khabib however you say his last name, he's Russian, I'm sorry, against Tony Ferguson for the interim lightweight championship.
So that's UFC 209?
Yes.
And that's in March. So you heard it. That's the one to look forward to. That's the one to circle it on your calendar.
Yep.
All right, shifting gears. We had an exciting weekend of divisional round in the NFL playoffs. Both Anthony and myself, we were both 2-2 in our picks. Ant picked the Falcons right? You also got the Patriots right.
Yeah.
He had the little rougher Sunday. I picked the Patriots correctly. And in the most exciting game of the week, I got the Packers game correctly. We were excited about that. So 2-2, we split the week, both feeling pretty good going into the conference championship.
Wait. You picked the Chiefs. Let's get that right.
I did. I picked the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I did. I'm guilty. I'm guilty as charged on my Chiefs pick, but we're gonna get to that one in a second. Ant, tell us first about the Seahawks-Falcons game. You said you took a deeper look at that one.
Yeah, I saw the whole game. Crazy back and forth at first because in the first half, Seattle looked really strong. The offense looked strong. Russell Wilson has an arm. He has a crazy arm. Like, he could throw Hail Marys fast. Atlanta, however, came back in the second half. Their defense was dominant. They kept on sacking Russell Wilson. I think it was they got 2 interceptions. Matt Ryan, man, he looked excellent. The whole offense looked awesome. They were playing like they never played before. So that led to the Falcons winning 36-20. And now next week, when they go to the NFC Championship game, they have the home field. They have the home advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw a lot of the same things you did. One thing I thought that the game really turned on, Devin Hester had that long kickoff return, maybe it was a punt return, and a long return down to inside the Falcons 20, and it got called back for a hold. It was actually a punt.
Yeah, I remember watching that.
Yeah, and I think the game really turned on that play because the Falcons held them, they ended up getting a touchdown there, and then they really rolled. And like you said, their offense is just looking like a well-oiled machine right now.
Yeah, exactly. They look like they want to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they look focused, they look ready, and they were a little up and down this year. I pointed out to everybody that the Eagles beat them pretty handedly at one point. So, I've been kind of using that as a reason why they're not good, but they've been proving me wrong here over and over. So, good game, hot team going into the conference championship.
Yep, I can't wait.
What about that? If there was a boring game of the weekend, I guess it was this one. What about that Texans-Pats game?
I wouldn't really say it was a boring game because Texans had some success in the first half. It was close when it was going into the second half. I believe it was 14-13 going into the second half. I think at one point Texans were leading. I mean, they were leading 13-7, and then New England, they scored. But yeah, other than that, Patriots just took over the rest of the game.
Yeah, not a whole lot to say on that game from my end. I think the Patriots are who they are. That game kind of went how we thought it was going to go.
Yeah.
The Patriots probably have even a little bit of room to play better than they did, but they played well enough to get the win.
Yeah, exactly.
That takes us to the Steelers at Chiefs game. Was supposed to be earlier in the day. It was supposed to be at 1 o'clock. Got moved to prime time due to some weather. And I enjoyed this game. I thought it was different from some of the other games because it was a defensive battle.
Yep.
The Steelers won the game without even scoring a touchdown, which I don't remember the last time that was done in a playoff game. They kicked 6 field goals.
That was crazy.
But I think what my takeaway is that the Steelers look really they look like a complete team right now. Their defense played better than I thought they would play. They have those weapons on offense, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell. And they look like a team that's rolling right now. The Chiefs, I was a little disappointed in my boy Andy Reid. Another clock mishap. They got the ball with 5 minutes to go, and they just took their time kind of moving down the field.
Okay.
Ended up scoring a touchdown, knocking in 2-point conversion, and then they didn't have enough time to do anything else. It's just typical Andy Reid and the inability to manage the clock. What did you think about that game?
Well, I didn't really watch it, but yeah, from what you said, yeah, this is the problem with Andy Reid. He always messes up. He always messes up with his team in the playoffs, that's why they can't make it. They can't even make it to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
So they still need to make changes.
Yeah, he seems like he might be becoming, or he is one of those coaches that can take a team from like not so good to good, but he has trouble getting them over the hump from good to great.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, now to the game we've been waiting for, the game that we've been looking forward to talking about here, and I've been talking about it all day. Packers at Cowboys. Packers 34, Cowboys 31. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I did project Packers 35, Cowboys 31, so I missed by only 1 point. But just a really, really great game. Packers jumped out early. They were showing all kinds of firepower on offense. Cowboys battled back. I thought that Prescott had a nice game. And it really came down to the end, and it just kind of like what we talked about last week, just too much magic from Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he makes that throw on third down, barely any time left, that I don't know, Brady, Manning, all the greats, I don't know if there's any other quarterbacks that can make that throw.
Nope.
An incredible catch by his tight end as well.
Yeah, and the fact that he kept his feet in bounds, that was crazy.
Yeah. But, I think that's what happens sometimes when you have a quarterback playing at that level. He makes everybody better around him. But a really enjoyable game. What do you think?
The Cowboys, what were they doing in their final drive? Why would you spike the ball?
Mm-hmm.
You could have scored a touchdown and you could have stopped the Packers, but you decide on first down to spike the ball instead of trying to let the time run out. Now, that upset me, because I would have loved to see the Cowboys try to make it. They're a young team now. They're a new team now. Packers, they've been in the playoffs so many times. They've made it to the Super Bowl and won it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching that play too, thinking, like, why are they spiking the ball? It seemed like they had plenty of time. And it seemed like they started to play for the field goal, right? They were playing for the tie when, it had been a back-and-forth aggressive game all day. I thought they should have gone for the touchdown. But it's easy for us to say, right? We're doing a little Monday morning quarterbacking.
Yeah, who knows what could have happened? Anything could happen in the NFL.
Very true. And that brings us to our next question, also from John in New Jersey. What's that question?
So, this question comes from John, and it is, the Cowboys had the number 1 seed in the NFC and lost in the divisional round at home. Should the Cowboys regret naming Prescott the starter? Would the outcome have been different if Tony Romo was quarterbacking?
I love this question, Ant. It's a good question because it's something I've been thinking about all year. And I don't think necessarily just because of what happened on Sunday, because I think Dak Prescott played a nice game.
Yeah, he did.
But I think Tony Romo, while I don't like him because he's a Cowboy, I think that he's been underrated his entire career. I think that they would have done just as good or better with a healthy Tony Romo this year. I know you're not agreeing with me. I know. Hear me out. But I feel like, they would have, as long as he's healthy. There's a chance he goes in, he gets injured, right? And then Dak just goes in anyway. But I thought that over the years, Tony Romo's been really good. This was the best team that he had to play with. I think he would have had them at 13-3. And I think he would have given them just as good a chance to win yesterday as Dak did. Maybe better, because what Romo has, he's got, I can't believe I'm even saying this, but he's got a little bit of that Aaron Rodgers magic at times. He's kind of escape the pocket, sling it downfield, whereas Prescott's a little more conservative. So I'm saying it now. I think that if Romo was the quarterback, they would have won yesterday.
Sorry, folks. That was just too funny. Sometimes I don't know what he says. Sometimes I feel like he's going on the Daily Show with Trevor Noah. People, we need to get our facts right, okay? Tony Romo was never that great. Because when you look at the fact of his career, he's never won the big one. He always gets injured every single year. When he's healthy, he doesn't have that many great plays. He doesn't have that great numbers. So for you to say he's underrated, I think he's overrated.
Okay.
Everybody's saying that he's this great quarterback. Meanwhile, when he takes his team to the playoffs, they always lose. But I can't blame it on Romo. I think we all need to realize that we have to blame it on the coach. Because, sometimes he makes up these stupid plays that cost the Cowboys. And sometimes he gets these players that don't even belong on the team. So, yeah, I can't blame it all on Romo. But then again, Romo is just not a great quarterback. He's decent.
All right, well, I think we can agree to blame the coach, Jason Garrett. Should we agree?
Yes, that's the only thing we can agree on, ladies and gentlemen, for this topic.
Coach's fault. He's terrible.
Yeah.
All right. Ready to transition into the conference championships?
Yep. Starting off with the NFC, the Green Bay Packers against the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta, Georgia. John, this is going to be such a great game. Both teams are excellent. However, because the Falcons are like a new team for a Super Bowl run possibly, and because they're playing in Atlanta, I've got the Falcons winning 34-31.
Okay, that seems like a pretty good call. I'm gonna ride the Aaron Rodgers magic right now. I think that Atlanta looked extremely impressive this past weekend, but I think Rodgers just has something going for him. So I'm gonna throw all sort of like conventional wisdom to the wind, and I'm gonna say Packers 31, Falcons 21. So I expect the Packers to win this one by 10.
Okay.
The second game brings us to our third question of the day. This question comes from Justin in Pennsylvania. He says, "Dear Landmark Sports, I'm looking forward to an apology during your post-game breakdown of the Steelers-Chiefs game. Also, I'm wondering what you think about the AFC Championship matchup. What are the keys to victory for each team? Please mention that the Patriots are unethical and they have a history of cheating. Thanks, Justin in Pennsylvania." So, Ant, there it is. Are we giving him an apology or no?
Look, man, your team got the Steelers. They got lucky against the Chiefs. However, a win is always a win. So I'd like to apologize for choosing the Chiefs. But however, as Conor McGregor says, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
Oh, got him with the McGregor.
Nah, man, but your team did a great job. I give you guys all the credit in the world. I hope you guys do beat the Patriots because, let's face it, they always cheat, you know? They always deflate the footballs, which I hate. And, yeah, but don't worry, man. I have the Steelers winning 30-27. Now, how do I think they're going to win? I think Big Ben is going to be on his game this weekend. And I think the defense, they're going to play more harder than they've ever played. And I think they're going to sack Brady quite a few times. Maybe even cause a fumble and run it for a touchdown.
All right, Ant, we're disagreeing twice this week. So, yeah, first of all, Justin in Pennsylvania, I apologize for picking the Chiefs. It was my mistake going with Andy Reid. But I'm not going to pick your team this week either. So instead of hitching my wagon to Andy Reid, I'm going to hitch it to Belichick and Brady. So I have Patriots 34-20. Basically, I think it comes down to the fact that the Patriots put up 34 points on a really good Texans defense last week. I know the Steelers defense is good, but I still expect the Patriots to score a lot of points. And I think the Steelers are going to score some points too, but I think that the Patriots defense is underrated, just like Tony Romo. And I also think that the Steelers made a mistake, and Antonio Brown filmed, Coach Tomlin's addressing the team and using some choice language toward the Patriots. And I think not that the Patriots need any fuel for the fire, but that's going to be some fuel on the fire for them. So I expect them to come out hot, and I expect the Patriots to roll in that one. Sorry, Justin from Pennsylvania.
Wait a minute, you forgot one thing. Where's the history of the Patriots cheating? Where's the history?
That's true. I'm sorry. They are unethical, and they do cheat. There are rumors that they were cheating when they beat my Eagles in the Super Bowl in 2004, I believe it was, when way before Deflategate, we had Videogate. That might be before your time, Ant, where they were videotaping other teams' plays and just more unethical behavior from the Patriots.
Yeah, nobody likes the Patriots.
No.
But there was this thing on on Facebook where it said, Tom Brady and Dak Prescott are good quarterbacks, but the one thing they have in common is that they could never beat Eli Manning.
That's a good point.
That's a very good point. You hear that? The whole world better listen up. That Dak Prescott and Tom Brady will never beat Eli Manning and the Giants. Never.
But they could just, and Eli, if you're listening to this, he can enjoy it from home too, because he got knocked out of the playoffs as well. So.
Yeah. Eli, man, I hope you're watching this. Next year, make sure that you bring the Giants to the playoffs again, but this time, dominate. Make sure they win the Super Bowl.
And with that, we're going to call it a week.
All right. So, we forgot to mention that next week is going to be a little bit messed up with the show. We have to broadcast on Monday because Tuesday, Landmark High School will be taking these tests. They'll take PBATs. The 11th graders are going to take Regents. And after the students leave, he has to grade. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean we're canceling our show.
No, the show must go on.
Yup, so, all right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Check back next Monday for a review of the conference championship games and a look ahead in the Super Bowl. We don't think we're going to do our predictions next week, but we'll do it on the week of the Super Bowl.
That's right. Have a great week. Thanks for tuning in.
All right. Thank you, guys.